All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a problem that's quietly creeping into just about every classroom and every home, the sedentary student. We're going to look at what's causing it, what the real consequences are, and most importantly, the simple things we can all do to get moving again. Let's get to it.
Does this feel a little too familiar? I mean, from the second the school bell rings to those late-night study sessions, it feels like students are basically glued to their chairs. Whether you're a student feeling it, a parent seeing it, or a teacher in the thick of it, you know the strain of these long, static hours. This is way more than just feeling a bit tired. It's a real epidemic of inactivity.
So what do we actually mean when we say sedentary? Look, this isn't just about who's playing on the school soccer team and who isn't. This is about a much bigger shift in our day-to-day lives, a huge lack of the simple, regular movement our bodies and, yes, our minds were built for.
And notice that really crucial connection here, the link between the physical and the mental. A sedentary lifestyle isn't just a body problem. It's defined as a lack of the very movement that is essential for a healthy mind. It's a whole person problem that messes with everything from your energy to your ability to actually learn.
And the effects? Well, they show up in ways that students feel every single day. You know, that constant feeling of being tired, not being able to sleep right, maybe getting sick more often, or just feeling kind of moody and unfocused. These aren't just random off days. Nope, they're the direct result of not moving enough. It's a really nasty cycle where being inactive just drains you of the energy you need to be active.
So why is this even happening? It's really tempting to just say it's laziness, but it's so much more complicated than that. There's some really powerful forces at play here, in our schools, in our homes, in our culture, that are basically designed to keep students in their chairs. Let's break down what's really going on.
A lot of the time, the whole structure of education itself prioritizes sitting still. There's this massive emphasis on academics, which is important, of course, but it often squeezes out time for PE or even just basic recess. You have these long school days, and then what happens? More hours of sitting to do homework. The entire day can become almost totally void of movement. And then you have the giant elephant in the room, technology. Our screens have become our #1 spot for entertainment, for hanging out with friends, even for learning. This digital-first lifestyle, it's not really a choice anymore, is it? It's become the default setting for an entire generation, conditioning us to just stay put.
And even beyond the screen, the world outside isn't always screaming, "Go play." Parents have totally valid concerns about safety. A lot of cities don't have enough safe, open spaces. And hey, kids learn by example. If the adults in their life are inactive, that sends a really powerful message. You add in the social pressure to be online, and the deck is seriously stacked against getting active.
Okay, let's be perfectly clear. This is not a small issue. We've seen the daily symptoms, but the long-term impact, that's way more serious. This trend hits a student's mind, their social life, and their future health in some really profound ways.
I want you to just let this number sink in for a second. According to the World Health Organization, over 80% of adolescents across the entire globe are not getting enough physical activity. That's 4 out of every 5 teenagers. This is not some niche problem. It is a global public health crisis that's happening right in front of us.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It shows the night and day difference in a student's daily life. On one side, you have an active student who has better focus, can bounce back from stress, and build stronger friendships. On the other side, a sedentary student who often struggles with concentration, deals with more stress, and might even pull away from friends. The path you're on directly shapes your entire experience.
And these consequences, they stretch far, far beyond the school years. We're talking about an increased risk for serious conditions like obesity and diabetes at a really young age. But here's the most dangerous part. The habits you form when you're young have a tendency to stick around for life. An inactive kid is incredibly likely to become an inactive adult, setting the stage for a lifetime of health issues.
Okay, we've laid out the problem, we've seen how high the stakes are. Now for the most important part. What can we actually do about it? And the great news is that change is totally possible. It's all about small, consistent actions from students, from schools, and from parents.
For all the students listening, this is about taking back some control. You do not have to become some star athlete overnight. Just start small. We're talking 15 minutes a day. Set a timer to get up and stretch when you're studying, and find something you actually think is fun. Dancing, biking, just walking with friends. The whole key is making movement a good part of your day, not a punishment.
But students can't do it all on their own. For this to really work, you need a supportive team.
and that team is built by schools and parents. Schools can bring in active breaks or make PE a real daily priority. And parents, you can lead by example. Schedule a family walk, set some reasonable limits on screen time, and just encourage your kids to get outside and explore.
As we start to wrap up, I want to leave you with a really powerful way to rethink all of this. For way too long, we've kind of seen physical activity as something extra, something that takes time away from the real work of studying. But all the science shows us that the exact opposite is true.
Let's just pause on this for a second. Movement is not a distraction from learning. It is its foundation. It's the thing that gets the brain ready to focus, to process information, and to actually remember it.
And that right there is the biggest takeaway. Physical fitness is not competing with your grades, it's the fuel for them. When you take care of your body, you are directly investing in your ability to succeed in school and in everything else. You're unlocking the focus, the strength, and the resilience you need to thrive.
So, as we finish up, I want you to think about this question for yourself. Forget about some huge, complicated plan for a minute. What is one small, simple move you can make today to break that cycle of sitting? Maybe it's a 5-minute walk. Maybe it's just a few stretches. Whatever it is, that one single move, that's the start of everything. That's how you build a stronger foundation for your future. Thanks for tuning in.